Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Mail with CartoonMoneyPrinters.com. Today is May 18th, 2025. Let's see here. Any housekeeping? Nothing too urgent right now. So I am joined with Astronaut Toad. Why don't you go and say hey?
Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Market open Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what you think about this next week here on Bitcoin. So, uh, without further ado, why don't you go and take it over, my dude?
Yeah, it's been a great week. Well, actually, so let's look at this. Last Friday, Saturday, Sunday was the beginning of this whole entire flat week. This was last Saturday, Sunday, and then this whole week is all this range in the chop. And it hasn't broken out since last Monday right here. This has been the whole week. This was Monday, on Monday, just got tapped, and I had a I had a trade on. If I switch to Heiken Ashy Candles, you can see here that this trade got stopped out. I actually put my stop loss a little bit lower because the orange blob was a little bit down there. So I was actually still in this trade, but then the trigger fired again, and it went to full profit because I was taking out that high. And that trade paid off, and now it keeps on going. But yeah, Bitcoin has been rallying. We have not come even close to revisiting this low. So we've got some bullish breakout looking price action, but I've been looking at the bigger time frames. And like if we go to the 4-hour here, and if we look at what I've got pulled up now, we can go back to regular candles and we can hide the Astronaut strategy. Well, let me hide this trade here as well. That's the Friday close, market close. And what we're looking at right here is the daily chart, the pink line on this is the Cartoon Money Printer's par indicator, which we all love. This is an amazing indicator that gives you either its own strategy all by itself or just confirmation for your own strategy. That's why we love it. So if you have your own strategy or you are looking for a strategy to build from scratch, the par is amazing. But what we're looking at here is there's a massive bearish divergence on the 1 day from here to this high, and then from here to this high. I'll draw it out since Mickey always asks me to draw out my divergences.
You know me well.
Come on. From this high down to this lower high, we have bearish. And then from anywhere on here, this is the highest closing candle on the 4-hour. I should go to the 1-day chart, but it's probably going to be about the same. That's the bearish divergence. So this thing on the daily chart gave a huge bearish divergence. And now it is popping again, which is getting higher. So from these areas, these zones here, we're getting another higher high, and yet the pink line, the 1-day RSI, well, this isn't exactly RSI, this is the price action reader is a modification of a strength indicator, okay? But the point is, this is an even lower high on the pink line here. So this is getting to be a huge bearish divergence, a double bearish divergence. And on the 4-hour, if we straddle all of these from this high here, all the way to what is now still shooting up. So it could break this high, but it's pretty dang high already. So if the 4-hour were to roll over right here, which is possible because we've got this sandwich of candles here. We got, and this is currently a bullish engulfing setup here, but it's a sandwich of 3 candles. So this could be a liquidity grab up above the high. So what I'm saying is, if Bitcoin rolls over right here, and this blue line just barely starts to curl down, you better believe that we will be going into the par's smaller time frames, which, see, right now I have the 240 minute, which is 4 hours, if you know how to do math. Come on, there's 60 minute, 30 minute, 15 minute. And then I've got 6 minute and 3 minute, but I'm not going to pull those up until we get down there. If that blue ribbon rolls over at this higher high on a lower high on the indicator, the par, then we absolutely go down to the 5 minute and we start looking for divergences. Well, hey, here's a 15-minute divergence from this green high. That's a little bit of a bearish divergence. It's kind of hard to see unless you maximize the par. But basically, if I go all the way down to the 1 minute, and then I pull up the par settings once again, oops, delete button is not the wrench button. The bolt, the settings button. So now I've got the 3 and the 6. Let's see what we got here. Not a bearish divergence yet. So this pump right here, that's a par gap. Like, you could enter a trade right around here and put your tight stop loss right above that high based on this being a par gap. And I hope my trade is still going on. I got in on a short, but I think my stop loss was somewhere above this high. So I probably blew past it. See how price got up here and then it blew past it? This is probably my stop loss getting blown plus a bunch of other people's stop loss getting blown right there when that ripped. So hopefully my other stop loss is up higher, up here, but I don't remember where I put it. I don't want to turn on my VPN to check.
Yeah, same. I do want to express caution. Like, this is a perfect bear trap setup because we're so close to the all-time high.
But we're also getting into bull trap setup as well, because it seems so obvious that we should return to the all-time high. So I feel like that's why this past week, if we go back to the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin, the reason that this whole entire past week is flat choppy is because people can't make up their minds.
Yeah.
Bull trap or bear trap. Like, we probably have had some bear trap setups, and then we've also had bull trap setups.
Well, this makes me want to zoom out even further.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even check the weekly chart. And well, I usually only check the monthly chart and the weekly chart for the public live streams once a month or once a week. And we kind of have already glanced at the monthly chart. So the monthly chart is looking bullish, obviously. Like, if you look at this monthly chart, it just screams return to the all-time high. Let me turn off these up-down indicators so that we can actually, nope. If you look at the monthly chart, this just screams we return to the all-time high. We look at the weekly chart, same thing. It created this wick. We are right there. Like, this is just expected that it'll take out the all-time high. But looking at the weekly chart, we can kind of begin to glimpse what the daily chart is doing, and it's got these bear divs going on. Like, if I'm on the daily chart, let's see. Yeah, look at that. I'll extend this out right about there, and then I'm going to make it a dashed line to remind myself that it ain't done yet. But like, this is looking like it could and or should take a tumble. But again, It's hard to know if we're just really smart and we're seeing, like, our indicators are really that good and they're telling us, they're giving us a lot of information. Like having the par at our fingertips, it's basically giving you strength or our custom sweet spot modification of a strength indicator. And it's giving you that indicator on a time frame from 3 minutes all the way to 1 day. And it's all in one place. And when it lines up like this, this is a par gap, and it is a very strong trade idea. So I honestly am very bearish. But to me, this is getting into that territory of, wow, this is so dang obvious. How could it be this easy? You know? And whenever that happens, I go back to my psychology and trading learning and remind myself, if this is so dang obvious that I am like, well, duh, I got to be careful because I might be wrong. If it's this obvious, then there's got to be somebody else looking at the same thing, and they have more money than I do, so they can force the opposite to happen. Always keep that in mind, okay? That's basically all my technical analysis for the week. I feel like it could rip to the all-time high, so I'm not, like, I'm hesitant to go long, even though this looks like on market structure. If we're trading ICT, this isn't just a regular break. This is a 1 day break of structure, which is a massive break of structure. So technically, if this crashes, what we should look at is the 1 day range, and I'll draw it out. And again, I have all of these indicator or these drawing settings, these templates in the private Discord, and you can get them. It's just a bunch of settings that I plug in so that when I draw it out, I can get premium, equilibrium, discount. The previous day close should be right here. That's update that. Maybe I'll make that 2 pixels and dotted. Maybe I'll make it 3 pixels since it's dotted. Really simple stuff. I'm
everybody ignore the yellow on the screen. I'm trying to resize this box. I don't know why the settings did that, but it's this giant box. Sorry about that.
Oh, good. I don't have to see whatever you're doing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just looking at my chart. But anyways, so here's what we're looking at in terms of traditional market structure. This is like basic ICT market structure trading. What we should expect is this was a break of structure. And where did it go? I drew it on. I drawed it on. Is it there? Yeah, there it is. It just hid the 1D there. That's a 1 day break of structure. Strong bullish candle close. Let's see. The volume is weak. Oh man, look at this volume. So this is what you call a strong bullish candle. When this much happens, look at that. That volume is huge. And now, this whole flat range, the volume has just been dropping. And now, this final candle that breaks above the range didn't even break above this downtrend of volume. If this is not a sign of weakness, and I actually have a volume moving average. See, in the volume settings, you can turn on moving average, and I have the moving average length set to 21. That's just a common thing. I thought I could change the volume moving average to exponential, but maybe that's only on exchange. But anyways, you can see if I set it to be a line, this is the moving volume. This is the volume moving average. This candle that broke this high couldn't even break Like, this is just a weak candle. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a pretty pathetic candle in terms of trading volume. Now, it was a Sunday candle, and this was a Thursday. So that is in favor of us disregarding this. However, it just screams fake out to the upside to me. And I am betting we might have another pump. It might wick. This Monday candle might wick to the all-time high. But I will...
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think if anything, it'll be an SFP, a swing failure pattern. It'll wick the all-time high, and I don't think there's any more liquidity there because everybody throughout this whole little top phase has been moving their stops into profit.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but I'd say a good chunk of limit orders. I'm kind of curious to see what like ExoCharts or one of the other ones say as far as liquidity. Mind you, like that's old data and it's not exactly real time when they do their 100x liquidity zones and stuff.
Well, let's look at some other exchanges. Here's Binance. This is USDT. So this is actual spot trading. People are actually owning these Bitcoins. And that volume is much better. That's 20K volume versus Coinbase. This is a smaller candle. Oh man, my computer's lagging. That's 4K. And this is 15K. Let's check the perpetual futures. So if people were opening shorts, this candle, this would be a huge spike. So this is giving me some hope that it is not a
stops getting lost.
Yeah, it could be short stop losses getting destroyed, or it could be, I guess if this is a green candle, then what it means is the actual buying outweighs the selling by this much, or the cumulative delta outweighs is the buyers are winning a little bit more.
Yeah.
So if shorts were getting stopped out, they would be forced to buy, so that would count. But if people were opening shorts, that would not count. So it's kind of bullish, and that's why I'm cautious. I didn't risk, like, my 1 hour chart had a Heiken Ash sheet. I'll bring back up the Astronaut strategy, and oops, you're not supposed to see that. That's a lot of money. This trade hit profit, and it was a huge win. I took a big risk on this trade because I was bored. Honestly, I was bored from, how come the previous loss isn't there? Oh, because this is the perpetual. Oh, if I had been watching the Binance chart instead of the, oh, this is interesting. Look at this. There was I entered the trade here and it lost. Wow, I guess I'm watching the Binance chart for now. Let's see.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Okay. So anyways, I got into this trade twice, or I could have got into this trade twice. And so I put a big old position on here. And then I risked some of the position on a stop, on a short. A tiny bit of that position's winnings were risked on a short. And that short's probably stopped out. But I'm still looking for a short. Like, as soon as this gives me another bear div on the 1 minute chart, I'm going short again. And I'm not going to risk all my winnings from my past week's trades, but I'm going short again. Not financial advice. Crypto is gambling. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that does remind me. I do want to check the stocks because this has been a really interesting time. stock market is in a similar situation. It crashed hard. Okay. Then got a bunch of stuff here to hide. Howdy, everybody in the live chat. Got any questions? Put them in the chat box. Let's see, just people just chatting and saying hi. Cool, cool. But anyways, looking at the stock market, we have a similar situation. Okay. It got to the all-time high. The NASDAQ hit 22,200. It crashed like crazy because this is mid-February. Was this the DeepSeek AI thing? I think that started this off, or maybe this was the tariffs. The DeepSeek might have been this previous one. No, this was back in December. So DeepSeek was somewhere around here. Was it late January or early February?
No, I think it was
anyways,
February.
Somewhere around here is the tariffs and DeepSeek somewhere in this area, and we had absolute chaos in the stock market. And even the moving average is flipped bearish for a while, but they're just about to flip bullish again. So, similar situation in the stock market compared to crypto. However, if I go to the par and I hide all but the 4-hour and the 1 day, what we're looking at is a different situation from Bitcoin. From the all-time high, we have a higher high. So technically, the stock market needs a breather. Like, this is maxed out. The 1 day is at 43, 44, 45. That's crazy. It rarely does that. The last time it did that was June of last year. Okay. So breather is incoming. Although we look at this and it did a bearish divergence then. So see back here, when this got this high, you have to remember something about divergences and strength in general as a measurement. The way they measure strength, I was thinking about this earlier today, just because I'm a nerd and I think about charts on the weekends. I was thinking the way they measure strength just has to do with the previous candles and the volume traded. So when you get to a situation where this is just maxed out, what does it mean? It means that you have exhausted your strength for a little while, but what it means is also you have had absolutely incredible strength up until this point. Well, what that means is it translates into we're probably going to get a blow off top after this crazy high. That's what makes a bearish divergence. So assume that this high is going to get busted and then print a lower high on the indicator while printing a higher high on your chart price action. So right there, when that candle closed, we've done this before. The par, we've back tested the par a lot and proven that it is a great indicator. If you got into this trade at the close of that candle where the pink line, the daily RSI par, is clearly angled down, you would have been able to ride this to at least that previous low there. We have any other lows broken? Yeah, it got down to this. See how there's a nice fair value gap here? Right there. See how there's a low and a high? That's what I would have targeted if I had a runner. That fair value gap right down in there.
So small.
Tiny little guy, but beautiful, beautiful trade right there. That's something else. You're getting a 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. Bitcoin dropped 11%
on stocks. Like this is the NAS.
No, this isn't. Yeah, you're right. This isn't Bitcoin. This is NASDAQ. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And this is randomly July of 2024. What was going on? What is it? Was this like the Biden is not in the election anymore situation? Is that why this happened? I don't remember.
I can look it up. It was January 27th when DeepSeek was launched.
January 27th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so let me ask this one. What was the date?
That's, oh yeah, it gapped down. Look at that. That's a big old gap
What was the
down.
date on that?
On what? The
For that dump?
this top, it was July 11th of 2024. Honestly, July is just usually a dump time. Like the stock market often cools off in the summer because all the serious traders have made millions of dollars and they want to go on vacation.
I'm asking Grok now what happened at that time.
Thank you. While we're waiting, here's what I take away from this. See this high right here? What happens is we get this high, and I'll give it about the same length. I'm just eyeballing it here, but yeah, June, July, somewhere around there. We get a lower high on the par. I'll make it a dotted line so that we remember to check it out later. But what will probably happen is this. We'll get this, come down and retest one of these things, like there's some support resistance there. It might go down and get one of these levels down here, but then it wicks the all-time high with very worse strength. And then we get some sort of long-term cool-off period because people maybe realize that the tariff situation is not a magic solution to the US economy problems or whatever global economic spin you want to put on it. That's
Okay,
what I'm thinking.
I got some scuttlebutt as far as the dates and stuff. I think like there's the tariff negotiations. We pretty much paused tariffs with China up until August. So there's negotiating time that's going to happen from here until or from when they discuss the stop until August, like 10th to 20th.
You mean this year?
This year. That's when the negotiations are either going to pan out or not. So right now the tariffs on China have been paused, and we're expecting a lot of liquidity to come funneling into the U.S. market for a deal that's going to be hammered out. And 3 months is ample time for negotiations between two countries.
3 months is plenty of time for both a dip and a rip. So like if we have until August, let's stretch this out, okay? Like on the daily chart, I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a celebration, but it might like the all-time high might front run the time of the
Yeah, I
actual
think your sentiment's
like
correct in that
final decision.
because they do
It
tend to
might be a
price it in early.
buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
Yeah,
You know. So this is what probably will play out.
yeah, no,
Anyways,
I agree. So that last where you have the trade position tool on, that was just negative economic news. There was a major sell off in tech. Apparently, there's some rotation between large cap to mid and small cap. So people were just repositioning into other stocks, and the whole of this chart is pretty much on the back of tech. Like all this growth that we've had is all tech driven. Not all of it, but I would say like a good majority.
interesting.
Spotify being $600 a share is insane.
Yeah,
I'm still astounded by that. Like,
we got a bit of stupidity going on.
they need to issue more shares, dilute the stock.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's what we're gonna be seeing now-ish is a retracement pullback and then more high.
Bitcoin conference
And we go,
with Vince and other people can make BTC go crazy. There is a Bitcoin conference
oh
happening.
yeah, there is a Bitcoin
Yeah,
conference.
it's going to be happening, I think, this month or next month in Las Vegas, Nevada. Which
Yeah,
I,
I
I
think it's
was
this month.
I'm super tempted to go. Like I am so freaking tempted to go.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's got to be. I've been to Vegas for
It's this month.
tech show conferences before, and it's chaos. Like if you don't know people and if you're not like actually there to see people and make connections and friends, it can be total chaos.
Well, that's what makes it fun. Yeah, it's this month. So let me look it up.
Honestly, I'm not even ready to like share my.
27th through the 29th of this month.
Yeah, I posted about this in the private Discord this morning. I was like, I don't want to ever be famous. I want to live a quiet life and help people that are actually treating me like a friend. You know, call it selfish or call it like wanting attention in a different way. But I just feel like it's so much healthier than the people who want to be famous on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I want to help the people that are actually my friends. So
well
like
that's
I hang out with the people in the Discord and I make friends. That's
yeah,
literally why I'm there. I'm there
totally.
to make friends and hang out, and
Well,
I like to coach people on how to trade because they're my friends.
one of the things that I want to do with this business is when we get enough capital going and we're raising a lot of money, I want to like organize and get members like tickets to conferences like this. Um, like I've got big aspirations for this, be it due to networking and a bunch of other things for myself personally. But I think it'd be cool to do like IRL meetups at a conference where it's like I pay for the business pays for mostly everything for the members.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's trade conferences where traders get together and just like even some of the smaller communities that are just a really tight knit close group of friends. Like
yeah.
they'll get together and do stuff.
So just to give you guys an idea, you can still get tickets. $270, $217 for general admission. Industry pass is something that I would probably have to do, and it'd be like 1,500. Whale passes are at three
Yeah.
thousand five hundred. After party tickets, see, that's what I'd be buying.
I just feel like I'd probably end up in a situation where I don't know, like they say never meet your heroes, but I don't really have any heroes in the trading world.
No, I
I
have.
feel like what I would be bombarded with, even if I was trying to get into the upper echelons of like the groups and the insiders, I feel like it would be so much just like shilling courses
Yeah,
and people scamming other people. And I would just be like, I don't want any part of this, you know?
I got some.
Like I want to either trade and profitably trade, or I want to help other people trade profitably.
I got some
I don't
YouTubers.
want to sell courses or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's understandable. I got some YouTuber, like political YouTuber side people that are like super libertarian that I really want to go meet and hang out with because culturally I align with them outside of not just crypto. You know what I mean? So they're
Yeah.
I know they're going to the Bitcoin conference this year, and my
That's what I would do if I went in a professional capacity. I would either be there to generally promote like self-reliance and that type of financial freedom, or I would be there to be like, do you have a gambling addiction? It's
you're like
literally like those are
"Eh,
the two reasons that I could genuinely make a difference in people's lives if I
that's
were
so
doing one of those things.
hilarious. Oh my god. All right, let's get back to TA.
I feel like if I ask people if they have a gambling addiction, though, they might like either just like throw a drink in my face or
They'll
something.
scoff at you. Like, but of course.
Yeah, I don't care about that, but like I
Smug
wouldn't want to
emoji.
get punched. I just don't want to get punched in the face from
No.
that guy who just lost $1 million on a trade.
Oh, he wouldn't be at the conference. He'd be going through divorce court.
Oh god.
All right, let's get back to TA.
Yeah.
Let's take a
So I
look at
think, especially
Nvidia.
with what's going on, yeah. Interesting. Ooh, hey, look at this. This downward pitchfork that I drew a long time ago. We're getting to the outside edge of it. So if this breaks above that and retests, that could get exciting. It is definitely ripe for a breather. Everything, crypto and stocks, they look like this is a massive par gap. Let's pull up the other par settings here. Look at that, though. That is maxed out. And you can see the other times when this thing gets totally maxed out, what do? You look for the bearish divergence and you go short. If it's maxed out at the top, you go short.
Oh,
If it's maxed out at the bottom, you go long.
that reminds me. Did you post your referral link in that new channel I created for that prop firm? No, you didn't.
No, I didn't post a prop firm referral link. I was just
Or no,
busy researching
it was an exchange
other
that you had
referral
mentioned.
links.
You and Kermit were talking about it last episode of your
Oh
broker where you could
yeah.
trade micros.
Oh yeah, for trading stocks. Yes.
You should post that in there for me.
Trade locker. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, throw a referral
I'll
link.
post that in the Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, look at this. One more pop up, and I'm gonna short that.
Yeah, I bought like shares, so I'm sitting well into profit, and I'm debating whether to hold it or sell and just take the money.
Honestly, this is a reversal point. It's getting pretty close to a reversal point. Like this 3060 par has taken a breather while price is still going up. So that could be either a bearish divergence in the making or a hidden bullish divergence in the making.
Yeah, it's
That's the
refueling.
tricky thing about divergences. You're not going to know until it's a couple bars later than the actual peak or valley. But with this maxed out on the 4-hour and the 1-day, like this was a pretty decent one. This was a pretty decent short opportunity up here. This right there, when that pops up,
You got to keep in mind what it is.
and price action. Look at this. Price action 1:30 p.m. on Friday. And then now on the overnight trading, Friday 3:55 p.m. Friday 1:30 p.m. Friday.
You got to keep in mind what Nvidia actually does too. Like, there's not going to be a lack of demand for GPUs and those processors.
Yeah.
AI is going rampant right now, and a lot of them. I spoke to somebody who worked for a corporation that does essentially cloud hosting for AI, and he was telling me about their hardware, and it's fucking bonkers, like the amount of power that they're using for AI.
Yeah.
So with all
Here's
that
what I
power
think
and
about this.
all those GPUs, you know, they're going through them, and yeah, they might be like more industrious than what we're buying for commercial use, but you're still gonna have to throw them away and get new ones eventually.
Yeah.
So I don't see Nvidia like crashing that hard. Like just pragmatically speaking, from what they sell.
Yeah. I think in the long term, it's a good buy. Like this is, this is Amazon after the .com bubble. But having said that, in the short term, what we're looking at right here is it pops up and then it takes a breather and retraces down. So, I mean, we're only in the range of like 136 point something down to the low 130s. So that, oh, it's getting a 1 hour squeeze started. That could be a fake out squeeze because it's pretty hard up above all the moving averages. But just looking at this, like we could expect it to retrace all the way down to 123 or something, 119, 118. That's down where the 200 EMA is. So if you got in way down here at like under $100, then you're sitting on it and you're, take some profits right here, but don't get out of the whole thing. And then, but if you got in anywhere along this flat past week, yeah, this could be a hidden bullish divergence here on the 3060 because you got these lows that are just getting lower and lower like that.
Yeah, I got in at 112, 113.
But honestly, it's probably going to pop and be a bear div. Now, this all depends on the overall situation and the global economy and the tariff situation. Like, I'm not an economist, so I would want to listen to experts on whether or not these tariffs are actually going to have a good, positive effect.
My Tesla buy is up 50%. Just in
wow.
Essentially like stocks. I'm not leverage trading that.
That's fantastic. Sounds about right from that low, yeah.
Okay, let's see what the guys want. Let's see here.
Got some chatter.
Script cold down. Yeah, I just find it could have been perfect script to cold down before the conference and break all-time highs with Vince talking. Vince, I'm not familiar with Vince.
Vance or Vance?
Like JD Vance? V-A-N-C? If he's speaking there, dude, that's gonna be nuts. But then again, like I'm still like we discussed in another episode, like they haven't done any like the administration hasn't done any like crazy moves for crypto. Yeah. So it is JD.
Yeah,
Vance.
the only thing pro crypto that the administration has done has been the classic rug pull scheme for Trump's own wallet.
Yeah.
That's bitter irony of electing a
But we'll see.
president who is a casino owner.
If he is,
the house always wins.
If JD Vance is speaking there, I think that'll be a pump. That's like this is
Yeah.
like pump action, and if he is essentially the next in line, or the what do they call it, the heir to the throne, he could be more beneficial to the legalization of crypto, for lack of a better term.
Don't call it a throne. The liberals will come after you.
Yeah. Well, it's a coin of phrase. The throne, the great MAGA throne.
Cool. Well, hey.
Does anybody have any coins they want us to look at?
Oh, not bad. 55.2 profit factor. Oh my gosh. 7 trade. It's only 7 trades. That's not enough data.
Render. Do you want to check out Render?
What the heck?
What? USDT?
That's weird. I
That is
thought it was
weird.
more widely traded. Huh. No dice on the profit factor there. That's not looking... I don't know. Let's see here. I gotta hide this stuff. I can't make sense out of it when it's showing all these. Yeah, it's looking a little more bullish than the other stuff in crypto. But only because Bitcoin, let's see, what did Bitcoin do? Yeah, Bitcoin. Actually, I don't know what to make of this. I think it's bullish if Bitcoin can hold this level, but if Bitcoin crashes below its level, then Render's definitely going to crash below this old low, and that's not good. Having said that, here's what I see on Render on the 4-hour chart. We have a not so good bear div right there, okay? But we're also kind of looking like all this is going to do is print a dang bull div here, you know? Like if that dips lower, like it looks like it's one of those consolidation situations where I think what we're gonna possibly get is, you know, this is aiming down. So we could expect it to get down, you know, even if it only goes down this far, that's pretty dang far. And then maybe it waffles around and gets back up or something. But this, with that aiming down, with this being right here already, like it's gonna make a lower low. It's gonna want to retest, like there's a fair value gap down here. Could get that 50% of that fair value gap. Give that a little waffle and then back up. And then that would print this bull div nicely. And then we're off to the races, back up towards these highs.
Yeah.
Take out that high, take out this high.
Swollen sounds like he's bullish too. He
I'd
says,
look for...
I wonder if I put along, because 4-hour HE is close to demand zone and seems to bounce off the 200 EMA.
I don't know. My concern is this. We have this fair value gap that hasn't been tapped yet. So that right there, see how I drew that and I lined it up? Honestly, that liquidity there, that's got me really thinking, because look at how many lows are right around here. And then this low had to get defended, but it was a fake out. So you've got all this, you got all that liquidity down there. On the 4-hour. You got a lot of liquidity down there. So think about why price would get attracted to this level, okay? Well, number one, everybody who got in from here to here and didn't get stopped out here they have their stop losses moved back up to their entry because they're like, all right, I held on, I got risk, I survived the risk, I took some profits up here. Their stop loss is at break even or in profit. So that's a draw on liquidity down here. What about the people that got short down here? There's no way they held on all the way up here and then now they're going to get out at break even. But with all this confusion here and all these stop losses, I believe that a break of this, a retouch of this level is going to get some people interested in shorting as well. So we have some conflict of interest, but either way, it's a gravitating price towards this level. So this is one of those like wait and see things where we say, you know what, price really wants to come here, but I have no idea what's going to happen when price gets here. You know what I mean? That's a really important way to trade, is recognize where price might be attracted to, and then just don't have a bias when price gets there. Just trade what you see in the reaction. Now we can go down to the lower time frame charts and look at render a little bit more closely. I'll pull up the 3060. It's hard to say what it'll print here. Bearish or bullish divergence.
It'll definitely come back down immediately.
This is interesting. What we have is an SMT divergence with Bitcoin. So render has made a lower high while Bitcoin has made a higher high. What does that tell you? Honestly, this is very important. Thank you. Who pointed this out? Was it Swollen?
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing this out, because here's a very important thing that we need to learn. What do you think this means when Bitcoin, the orange line, has made a higher high, but this altcoin has made a lower high? To me, what this means is traders are shifting from the risky stuff to the safe stuff. Because look over here on this side, renders up, there the high is 4.8% and the low up, and the low is 4.3% down. Well, no, is this? No, Bitcoin, yeah. Whereas Bitcoin is 0.5% up, 3% up. Interesting. This shows me, this confirms people are exiting the risky stuff, the volatile stuff, and people are moving to the safe stuff. Honestly, to me, that means the renders got further to go down. And we got retracement times. Like, imagine if you had to be in a position at all times, what would you do? You would ride the altcoins when they're pumping and giving you 20, 30, 40, 50% gains. And then if you were not allowed to just close your position and exit the market entirely, what would you do? At the top, if you knew it was a top, you're a market maker, you would switch your money to the least loss coin, like Bitcoin, because you know if the altcoins drop, if Bitcoin drops 1%, the altcoins are going to crash 5%.
I think this is
so what do you want to do? You want to be in Bitcoin.
I think this is a perfect
Anyways,
segue.
that's my analysis.
That's a great analysis. I think it's a perfect segue to go into total 3. Total 2, yeah. Total 3.
We've got this high here. Honestly, I think render has got lower to go. It front ran this fair value gap here. And this is really giving me bearish vibes for Render and Bitcoin, but you know, we already established the narrative that we think Bitcoin has got a pullback coming up soon. Okay, so here's total with Bitcoin again overlaid in orange. And very interesting. Same thing. Total has made a lower high with this recent pump. Man, I'm gonna turn on my VPN on my phone. I want to check my trade.
Oh no.
If I did get stopped out, I need to get back in this short, like right now. Do you want to cut the public live stream and do private coaching for a little while?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or
So
is there anybody in the Discord that has any questions? You want to chat? You want to unmute yourself, or just post a question in the chat? Let's go. We got some time. We got a few minutes for private coaching.
All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to end the live stream here. If you want to catch the mystery assessment of Total 3, come to cartoonmoneyprinters.com, click the Start Now button. You can get a month free trial by going to, you'll onboard with whoop.com, link your Discord and your trading view, and you'll get access to our indicators and access to the Discord that we're in, and be able to see what's behind the wall. So yeah.
And access to private coaching. I stream Market Open once, twice, 3 times a week. And I do private coaching if I'm not actively in the middle of a trade. So I'm always happy to show people why, explain why I trade the way I trade, or just help them with trading psychology, or even like people bring their own strategies to me and say, hey, what do you think of this idea? And we break it down and say, all right, this is a good strategy, but maybe watch out for this, or change that.
Yeah. So yeah, come be part of the community. Would love to have you. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later.